Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have another exciting show for you tonight. I think it's number 553. Right over here in this other shot is Mr. Tim Pate. Howdy, Tim.
Good evening, Paul. How are you tonight?
Very well, very well.
Good.
We have a hemp news segment tonight, and we'll be taking your phone calls shortly. And we have film clips too. So stay tuned, and here we'll bring on our infamous dancing cannabis leaves.
I feel the force.
Well, tonight's hemp news starts with what could be a world-shattering vote in California to completely legalize marijuana. It's the most exciting ballot in the world, and countries around the world are watching. Currently, more than half of California voters support Proposition 19, a ballot initiative to legalize the private adult use and cultivation of limited amounts of cannabis. 49% to 42%, according to a statewide Public Policy Institute of California poll released last week. 52% of the voters now back the measure versus 41% who oppose it, according to a poll of 2004 likely voters. Of the statewide propositions polled, only Proposition 19 possessed majority support among California voters. The poll also reported that a greater percentage of voters now back Proposition 19 than support incumbent Democratic Senators Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein at 42% and 44%. Republican challenger Carolyn Fiorina and gubernatorial Democratic candidate Jerry Brown, who polled at 37%, are the other Republican gubernatorial candidate Meg Whitman at just 38%. Polltracker.com, a website that posts aggregate results of all the polls conducted on this issue to date, shows Proposition 19 leading 47% to 43%. On Tuesday, the measure was endorsed by the California League of United Latin American Citizens, the LULAC, or L-U-L-A-C. LULAC is the largest and oldest Hispanic organization in the United States. For more information, please visit yeson19.com. If you support this issue, I urge you to go there, donate a little money at yeson19.com. From Washington, D.C., treating marijuana as a legally regulated commodity would yield some $17.4 billion annually in cost savings and new tax revenue, according to an economic report published by the Cato Institute think tank in Washington, D.C. The report, entitled "The Budgetary Impact of Ending Drug Prohibition," estimates that taxing the commercial sale of marijuana in a manner similar to alcohol would generate some $8.7 billion in annual revenue. The report further estimates that abolishing marijuana prohibition would yield an additional approximately $9 billion in annual law enforcement savings. A previous 2005 study commissioned by NORML estimated that marijuana law enforcement costs taxpayers some $7.6 billion per year. A separate California statewide analysis published in 2009 by the State Board of Equalization and Taxation estimated that imposing retail taxes on the commercial sale of cannabis in California would yield approximately $1.4 billion in yearly revenue. Full text of this study is available online from the Cato Institute at cato.org. That's cato.org. From New Jersey, the state law authorizing the limited medical use and distribution of cannabis in New Jersey took effect Friday, October 1st. New Jersey is one of the 14 states, as well as the District of Columbia, that allows for physician-recommended use of marijuana. Under the law, the New Jersey Compassionate Medical Marijuana Act, the State Department of Health is mandated to issue regulations overseeing the licensed production and distribution of medical cannabis to authorized patients. Health officials have 90 days following the law's enactment to adopt the regulations for the state's medical marijuana program. Outgoing Governor John Corzine initially signed the measure into law in January. However, in June, state lawmakers, at the behest of Governor Chris Christie, amended the law so that it did not take effect until October. New Jersey's regulations, once instituted, are expected to be the strictest medical cannabis law in the nation. Finally, from Providence, Rhode Island, State of Rhode Island Department of Health officials announced that they have rejected all 15 applicants who applied for licenses to distribute medical marijuana in accordance with a Rhode Island state law from 2009. Under the law, state officials were required to issue licenses by July 2010 to allow for not-for-profit entities to, quote, supply or dispense marijuana to authorized patients. To date, no licenses have been issued by the state. Health Department officials said that 9 of the 15 applicants failed to comply with the state's medical marijuana regulations, while 6 applicants were denied for technical reasons, such as exceeding the application's page limits. Health officials said that the agency expects to issue a new request for proposals in October. This summer, Maine health officials approved the state's first ever state licensed medical cannabis dispensary. New Mexico health officials also licensed medical marijuana providers and retail distributors. Rhode Island's lawmakers initially enacted legislation allowing for state-qualified patients to possess, grow, and use marijuana for therapeutic purposes back in 2007. Lawmakers enacted separate legislation in 2009 to allow for the Rhode Island Department of Health to issue licenses for the operation of nonprofit compassion centers to provide cannabis to authorized patients. To date, over 2,200 individuals are registered in Rhode Island to use cannabis legally. Another 1,600 individuals are registered as caregivers, a status which permits them to grow up to 24 marijuana plants for designated patients. That's the end of our Hip News segment tonight. Now we're going to go over to Mr. Tim Pate, the Doc Severinsen of the marijuana movement. How are you, Tim?
I'm doing fine, Paul. I am doing fine. Sounds like some of those states out west or back east are doing fine too. They're moving right along.
There are some changes going on, and
there are some changes
South Dakota
going on.
and Arizona are going to vote to completely legalize medical marijuana too. In
Now,
addition
how are
to Oregon's ballot measure 74 for a regulated medical marijuana dispensary system.
Have they polled in those states yet?
Yeah, currently they're all of our votes are slightly ahead.
Good. Well, there you go. I'm not surprised. Ahead is where we usually are. So that's where we need to stay too, especially in this field. There's no doubt about it.
Well, that's what they call us when we walk down the street. There goes ahead.
I know that. That's just why not just take it and stay ahead?
Right.
I'm in for that. I really am. I'm up for that. Have a little music. It's harvest time, so sit back at home and enjoy yourself. Thank you.
I'm here to tell you that we are ready to take your phone calls tonight. Call us at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. We'll be taking your calls right up to the top of the hour. We're going to talk about ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, and helping medical marijuana patients, which is the purview of our show, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
And have so much fun doing it.
At the same time.
That's true. Why not? You know?
Yeah.
We do have fun at what we do. You know that.
It's true. It's true. It's
You
an
know, we're
honor.
helping lots of sick people, and we know that constantly. In fact, you helped some sick people this week. Most folks don't know, but you know, when you have to get called into court, you know, you drop everything else, and I know you have a lot of everything else on your plate.
I do have a lot going
Yes,
on
you do.
that I juggle.
And you had to do that this week. I hope that went well.
Yeah, it went pretty well. I went up there and testified in Bothell, Washington for a patient and their caregiver. But you know what? We have another, our first caller, actually. Welcome to our show, caller.
Right now.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Hello?
There you are.
Yes. Hi.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Am I on?
Hello. Yes, you are.
right now, at this very moment.
Oh, good. Hello, gentlemen. Sir Paul? Sir
Howdy.
Timothy?
Thank you.
And
Hello.
to the control room and the camerawomen. Hey, how are you? This is Willie at Critical Care.
Hi, Willie. It's good to hear from you.
I hope everything is going well with you there.
Well, thank you, sir. I wanted to, I've got two questions. I'll start off with the simplest first,
Okay.
if I may.
Sure.
Proposition 19, if it passes, does that mean, as us as growers and cardholders being patients too, will we be able to travel once it becomes law? Is that only for California residents, or will
No.
it be for anybody that wants to go and
Anybody
either
over the age of
seed
21.
stock or even get clones and come back to Portland legal?
Anybody over the age of 21 will be able to legally possess up to 1 ounce of marijuana in the state of California. Now, you won't be able to drive and smoke, obviously, and I don't believe you'll be able to smoke in public. It'll have to be done in
never
public.
do.
I mean, in a private location. But it will be legal for anyone in that state to possess a few marijuana plants, grow their own small garden, and have up to 1 ounce of marijuana away from their home. And so
He also asked about transporting from California to Oregon.
If you are a medical patient, then you're able in Oregon, and you're able to have plants legally in Oregon, then it just seems that you'd be able to, when you're legal, when you cross that that border from one state to another. And I think that would be legal as well. Of course, you know, I've got to preface that with I'm not an attorney, and my legal opinions are not, you know, held by lawyers. I mean, held by judges to be a writ that they must follow. So your mileage may vary.
Yeah,
But I
test it at
think
your own
you
risk.
should be legal
I'm
in
really
California.
looking
Anybody
for-
who has an ounce or less in California
I would think so, too.
over the age of 21 should be legal. And if you're an Oregon medical marijuana patient, when you cross the border, you should remain a legal medical marijuana patient with the rights given you, which is up to 24 plants and up to 24 ounces in the state of Oregon. But it wouldn't, you'd just be legal with up to 1 ounce in California, unless you had a California doctor's recommendation. You still there, Willie? Maybe we lost him.
Might have.
That happens sometimes.
It
there
does.
seemed to be a little problem there. Anyway, if you have a question or a comment for us tonight, give us a call at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. Or if you're watching on the internet, we are streaming live on ustream.tv, just like it says there at the bottom of the screen, the letter U, STREAM.tv. And if you click on the little chat box off to the right, then you can type in a question there that will be transmitted to us in text, and I will attempt to answer, as will Tim here, and we'll give you our best opinion, as we just did on that question before us.
Or our worst opinion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't think the federal government can cordon off the state of California and put
I don't think so
guards
either.
on every. I mean, you know, California has a little agricultural check station as you go into it.
That's
and
it. That's going in, though.
Yeah.
They're not leaving the state.
Yeah, that's
so.
right. And they're usually looking for fresh fruit. I've never had them say, "Do you have marijuana?" as I was crossing the border
It's
into
probably
California.
best. They would have to throw a lot of people into jail right there on the
Maybe
spot.
so. Maybe so.
Yeah.
But fruit. I mean, they don't jail a lot of people for fruit anyway.
No,
But yeah, they have those. I think that's the only state that has those.
I'm kind of glad.
Yeah.
Well, it was necessary. Agricultural issues going on there, you know, and the spread of disease and bugs and stuff like that. That was
Yeah.
a very necessary quarantine that they had going on there. You know, and they still do it for certain types of fruits. I know that on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So
They're
it
valuable.
keeps the spread of that disease, you know.
Valuable agricultural products produced throughout the state.
Well, if something were to happen to a marijuana crop and suddenly everybody were to get certain types of mold that we couldn't fight, you know, we would be fighting that, you know, in every way, shape, and form we could, and, you know, including quarantines. I'm certain that, you know. So, and we'd have to watch that on ours. If this becomes a commodity, just like any other commodity would out there, we're going to be attacked by those kinds of diseases just like anything else would be. And we'll have to face that. I know that. And we'll have to be looking at it on industrial scales again. And we haven't had the opportunity to really look at it on industrial scales in the United States yet. But if we do...
Not in a long time.
Not in a long time.
There's a study by these two researchers of wild hemp in south central Illinois that looked at the prevalence of molds and fungus attacks on the feral or
Very
the
good.
wild crop there and documented that pretty clearly. And they are also, in that study, came up with a pretty huge production number for seeds in certain stands
Right.
for the seed production. So
How old was that study? You remember?
that was 1975. It was
Okay.
published in Notre Dame's The Midlands Naturalist.
So it's 35 years old.
Yeah.
But the
yeah.
information holds true, you know. on-
Still the same plant.
Yeah.
Still growing wild, and the law enforcement people try to wipe it out, but they can't.
Well,
It's a weed.
I remember when John Trudell was here, he'd seen it too back in Nebraska. When I used to spend time hunting with my bow back in the fields of Nebraska, and I came across entire fields of ditchweed there, right there in front of me. I was absolutely amazed that it was there, but you know, it was not even being cultivated. It was just there.
Yep, that's how it grows. It's also that way all over the mountain tops and the high plateau above the timberline in Central Asia and the Himalayas.
Really?
Yeah, it's natural to that, or indigenous to that area. So anyone who's traveled up through Kashmir and Nepal and Tibet and Afghanistan will see it growing wild through there. In fact, I saw some of our soldiers on CBS News tracking through a huge field chasing terrorists.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
just last week, I believe it was.
Yeah. And how close were they to the herb while they were doing it?
They were just pushing their way through a big field that seemed rather endless. It was like they're in the jungle. You don't think of a jungle in Afghanistan. You think of kind of a desert.
That's true.
But, you know, they have the old strains growing back there.
Yeah.
We have a caller. Welcome to our show, caller.
Mute the TV for some reason.
You there?
Hello, can you hear
Hello?
us? Hello, caller. Well, we lost him, it
We did?
appears. Yeah, so
I hear something, but it's not
it
coming
does
through.
look that way.
Yep.
Well, we'll just have to see. I know we've got new person on sound in there. Not entirely new, but
She's been at it for a long time.
she's
just
been at it a
spelling
long,
one of our
long
off
time.
people
That's
tonight.
true. Like
We
9
do have
years.
gremlins.
Scott's
occasionally in
been
there.
doing it so much lately, but yeah, it's hard to get all those wires in the same.
That's true.
direction.
We do have an audience participant who has a question, though. So.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to our show.
Hello.
Hey.
I had a question this week from a friend, and I couldn't answer it. They wanted to know how a legal medical marijuana patient goes about dealing with a Section 8 housing.
Well, that's been an issue that's been adjudicated here in Oregon for some time. The patient can only grow for themselves. They can only have the limited amount for a single patient, but they are entitled to have it, and that's been adjudicated by the local courts here in Oregon, that just because they have a medical marijuana permit, they can't be denied Section 8 housing. In fact, my recommendation is always don't ask, don't tell when it comes to renting an abode and your medical marijuana permit. Even though if you find someone who doesn't complain when you say you're going to do it, then you know you've got a pretty safe place. But then there's still it can't help often, and it might hurt. So as long as you're not doing anything to damage the house, then it shouldn't be any issue.
And it's legal in the state, so
Yeah.
as long as it's legal, it's legal.
That's right.
It's not
That's right.
something that you have to fight the authorities over.
And the courts have ruled that, you know, a medical marijuana patient in Section 8 housing, as long as they're complying with the limits for one patient, they can't grow for other patients, but as long as they're complying with their own needs and the law, then they can't be evicted for being a medical marijuana patient and growing their own medicine.
Now, I put my sign up this week, my yard sign for Yes on 74. We should talk about 74 since it's coming up here very quickly.
That's true. Measure 74 is up for a vote here in Oregon, and it will allow dispensaries and producers to supply medical marijuana patients.
Yeah.
And so it's coming up for a vote on November 2nd, and we urge your support. He's put up a sign. We have a sign in front of our office here in Portland. I put up one in front of my house too, and it will set up nonprofit dispensaries and producers that supply the dispensaries. And so it'll put there's a fee they have to pay annually for their license, and their records and grow site and cannabis storage can be inspected by the health department. Health department will issue those permits, and the producers and the suppliers will pay each a 10% tax. And the dispensaries also have to provide free cannabis to some low-income people, or a certain percentage of their crop has to be provided at no cost to indigent patients. But you know what? We've got a caller here now. Welcome to our show, caller. Hello, caller. We're trying to work on a problem in the room. You know, you might be hearing them and we're not, or they might be hearing us. And hello, caller. Can you hear me?
I don't hear anything.
Oh, there you can
Well,
you hear
we can
us?
hear you.
We can hear you now.
Hello. I understand that can be
We're having fun tonight on this one.
Oh, hi, guys.
There you are.
Hi.
All right. Hello.
Hi. I've recently learned that I'm terminally ill with cancer, and I'm about to
my
undergo
condolences.
radiation and chemo, and kind of doing a little pre-planning, getting ready to get my card and
Yes.
grow for myself.
Yes.
While I have the ability to grow for myself, I'd like to be able to help others and grow for others. So,
Right.
how many other legal marijuana, medical marijuana card holders may I grow for, and how many plants?
if you're growing for yourself, you can grow a total of 24 plants for yourself, and 6 of those plants can be budding, and you can grow for 4 more patients. So, for each of those, you can grow 6 budding plants. So that would be 30 total if you're a
24.
patient too.
So myself and 4 others. So the factor is
Himself
6
and
times
4
5.
others, or himself and 3 others?
Gee, I think it's himself and 4 others. You think I'm wrong on that?
I would lean towards the 3 others, because if you added 24 plants per person, it's going to always be 96, and you want to be
Yeah.
below the 100 level.
Yeah,
So
for the
that's,
federal
that-
purposes,
yeah,
even though the
that's way I
federal
would
government.
lean.
You know, I'm pretty sure he might be right. So let's go with his answer. It's more conservative, and more conservatives more fair. So let's say you can grow a total if you only care for 4 people total, including yourself.
I can take my commercial greenhouse here on my acreage and
Yes, you can.
serve myself and 4 other patients.
Yes, you
with
can.
24 mature plants and a total of 96 total plants, of which only 24.
Yeah, and out of those 96, 24 of them would be able to bud at one time.
Okay, guys, thanks a million.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And look, good luck in helping others and helping yourself in this. If you need help in any way, give us a call back and see what we can do. man.
Also, as a terminal cancer patient, or someone who some physician, I take it, has told you you're terminally ill, then I would recommend you go and look on the internet and at YouTube for this video, Run From the Cure. It's called, just enter Run From the Cure into YouTube or Google, and you'll see some interesting news on how thousands of stage 4 and stage 5 cancer patients have gone into complete remission using high dosage cannabis extracts. So I hope that helps.
I hope so too. Truly do.
Yeah. We have another caller. Welcome to our show, caller.
Hi there.
Hey.
I wanted to ask you about honey oil, and is anyone doing any research on this? I've heard that it can cure or kill cancer cells. And
Well, that's
wanted to
just
get your
what we were
feelings on
saying.
that.
Now, honey oil is often considered to be just a pure oil resin extract of cannabis, and that's one of the many ways that you can consume cannabis. Some people smoke that. I don't like smoking it myself. It makes you cough. But it can also be taken orally. And in fact, for oral purposes, taking cannabis orally works better and lasts longer, has a greater duration. And so...
is anyone doing any research on it now that you know of actively?
no, not that I know of.
Colleges or
actively.
whatever?
Not right now. You know, in the United States, research per se, there is some research going on in California. It's being funded by the state down there on medical applications. So I don't know that they've taken pure oil extracts like honey oil and done any independent research just on that. I can't answer that question, unfortunately. But
The
there
research
is
seems to be more towards diseases or cures rather than specific potions or things like that. And so that's what I've noticed. Even through O'Shaughnessy's and stuff, they seem to be more interested in what can this do for the patients and which maladies out there will it work best for. That seems to be the research and where it's pointed towards lately.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
And we have another question from that studio audience
Right
member.
on.
Hello.
Hello. I know that when I vaporize, I'm able to also consume, either through capsules or adding to my food, the medication that I have vaporized, which gets it onto the inside of my system. It may not be as concentrated as the hash or the honey oil, but enough of it makes you smile.
You're talking about the honey oil, vaporizing the honey oil?
No, the residue left over after it's been vaporized, the organic
sure.
plant matter.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well that's an interesting.
Well, happy is a good thing.
You can't complain about that.
I don't complain about it.
If you have a question for us tonight, give us a call at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. We're going to roll a film clip here in just a moment. And I want to remind you, though, if you're out there and you're looking for help finding a medical marijuana permit, then we have a doctor referral service with doctors all across the United States. You can call us at that toll-free number, it's 1-800-723-0188. 1-800-723-0188. Now we have a caller standing by. Welcome to our show, caller.
Yeah, how's it going, fellas?
Pretty well. How are you?
Not too bad. I just had a quick question here. I was kind of curious, those who are on medical marijuana and using it, are they able to operate machinery or drive a vehicle while using it?
No, they should not do that. And no, they can't. In fact, if you operate a motor vehicle while using cannabis, then that would constitute driving under the influence.
Right, exactly.
So,
okay, I was just curious if that was going to come in context also with the law that you guys are supporting too. So
no,
that was
we
wouldn't change your it wouldn't change that in any
we
way.
explicitly tell patients to not use cannabis before driving and before work, and that it can't be used in that situation.
Your legal liabilities continue.
Right. Awesome. Thank you very much, fellas.
You bet.
Thank you. We're going to run a film clip now, and we'll be back in just a second. Take more of your phone calls. Stay tuned.
Although I am not attorney, don't hold me by that. But I believe.
Yeah.
Neither Jack nor anyone else in the outgunned, outspent reform movement was having any impact at all on U.S. drug policies. In the last years of the 20th century, incredibly, America was the only industrialized nation that still forbid hemp farming, forcing the U.S. hemp industry to import all its raw material. According to the government, allowing farmers to grow hemp would confuse police and send a wrong message to children.
Drugs are every nation's problem, and every nation must act to fight them. We are determined to build the drug-free America and to join with others to combat drugs around the world. Let there be no doubt, this is ultimately a struggle for human freedom.
In the 90s, the federal government escalated the war on marijuana, spending a record amount of money to arrest a record number of Americans, most for simple possession. Since Prohibition began in 1937, upwards of 70 million Americans have tried marijuana at least once. A staggering 11 million of them have been arrested. With 1 in every 40 prisoners a marijuana offender, the United States has become the world's biggest jailer. Some states now spend more on prisons than on higher education.
Even alcohol prohibition did not punish the users of alcohol. When marijuana prohibition was instituted, however, the prohibition was aimed directly at users, which it had not been with alcohol prohibition.
Well, just here in America, it's 14 million years have been spent on prison, jails, parole, or probation since the 1930s for marijuana. 14 million years. I can't even begin to calculate what that is at $25,000, $30,000 a year now. It gets me angry every day.
All available research has concluded that marijuana is dangerous to our health. Marijuana limits learning and memory perception and judgment and our ability to drive a car.
The war on marijuana is also a war on the sick and dying. Even after California and 5 other states overwhelmingly approved medical marijuana initiatives in the late 90s, the federal government still plays hardball.
Despite these initiatives, we want to make clear that federal law still applies, and federal officials will continue to apply the law, and DEA officials will review cases, as they have, to determine whether to revoke the registration of any physician who recommends or prescribes so-called Schedule I controlled substances.
This is not a medical initiative. This is a legalization of drugs issue.
The federal government, by classifying marijuana in Schedule I, is saying that it has no medical uses, which is a bald-faced lie because it has 10,000 years in every culture of medical use.
United States policy to the contrary, cannabis has long been esteemed as a safe, effective, and non-addicting medicine. For thousands of years, it was prescribed by the greatest physicians of their day. It was used for dozens of conditions, ranging from migraines, chronic pain, and asthma, to childbirth, muscle spasms, and even depression. Today, it also provides relief for victims of multiple sclerosis, glaucoma, the AIDS wasting syndrome, and nausea induced by chemotherapy.
It's impossible for a human to overdose and die, which is not true of alcohol, nicotine, barbiturates, or morphine. And it's a drug which humans can use under a wide variety of circumstances with safety.
Even so, U.S. House Republicans, using language that would have made Harry Anslinger proud, passed a resolution in 1998 branding marijuana a dangerous, addictive drug with no medical use.
And how many deaths from marijuana each year? Big old goose egg, 0. So that was an excerpt from The Emperor of Hemp, a production about Jack Herer, the author of The Emperor Wears No Clothes. And so
You know,
It's a
this
great
year
film.
we got to mention out at Hempstock that I remember when we were doing the memorial to Jack on Sunday, that at some point we'd love to do something creative about changing either the name of the park or doing something creative out there to commemorate the fact that we have Hempstock out there, that Jack Hare was a part of that, and attach his name.
He wrote his book here in Portland, the first edition. I mean, he came here with the kernel of it going, but it was just a small article in the Yippie magazine Overthrow initially, and then it expanded into a book while he was here in Portland, and he kept revising it throughout his life. So he went through, I think, 12 different revisions and upgrades from 1985, when the first edition was published here in Portland, right up to his death last year, or his heart attack last year, and death this year in April. But anyway, that film is coming out with a new commemorative edition with extended video and things, so you can look for that. We have a caller standing by. Welcome to our show, caller. Hello, caller.
Are you there? Are you there?
Hello, caller. Well, we are just having gremlins in our sound system tonight. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, there you are.
Hey, we can hear you now.
Are you there?
We are here.
Are you here?
I got a question for you.
All right.
I have multiple sclerosis. I've had it for 20 years.
Yeah.
I used to have a doctor gave me a card to get marijuana. Now the doctor has passed away. I got a new doctor now. She will not give me a card.
Well, we can help you. Are you here in the Portland area?
Yes, I am.
Call 503-235-4606. There it is, that number there on your screen.
Okay.
You can call right now and leave a message, and somebody will call you back tomorrow probably, but if not tomorrow, on Monday. So if you need help finding a doctor here in the Portland area, just call that number there on your screen, 503-235-4606. We'll be happy to help you.
Well, thank you very much. You got a great show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye.
We have another question from our studio audience member.
Right on.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good.
Great.
I got my first outdoor is going underneath a plastic cover, and I'm wondering some tips on to know when it's done.
I would say, it's not too early to pull now. However, you might want to wait till. I like to watch the extended weather forecast, and we've got starting a little wet period today through Monday. So if you have anything that's very mature or shows any signs of mold, I would pull it now.
Yes.
But if something doesn't look like it's close to mold and it isn't quite mature, I would give it another week and then see what the extended forecast is next weekend. But typically I harvest about the 15th of October here in the Portland area. And so this show is recording on the 8th, so about a week from now is the recommended time. So I hope that helps answer you. It's once we harvest it takes a little bit of time to have it dry out and cure, and I like to call that Hallowweed because it always falls right around the end of October. And it's a very Hallow weed indeed.
It is. It's really good. I myself like to get out my scope and take a look at those trichomes, see where they are, and see what color they've turned, and see if they've gotten big and thick and fat and brown. And
yeah, and another thing is there's a 24-hour cycle in resin production, and that it peaks just before dawn. So it's often best to harvest just at the end of the night cycle, and that way you have the maximum time of day for daily resin production. So that's another little secret, is to harvest just before dawn, and that'll do the best. Now we have another caller out there. Welcome to our show, caller.
Hi, I've heard you guys talk about Washington and how different counties, sheriffs enforce and waste, and that people with card holders are having a hard time. My daughter is a card holder, and she's thinking of moving up near Spokane, about 40 miles outside of Spokane. What's the attitude like up there?
It's about like it is over in Vancouver. They don't love it, sometimes if you run afoul of the police or you get the wrong police officer, they'll come in and take your crop and make your life bad. But more and more patients are out there. We have an office there in Spokane, right off of I-90, and there are a good number of patients there, and so it's generally pretty good in that area.
Okay. Thank you very much for all you do for us.
Hey, you're welcome. We're proud to be able to do it.
You betcha. We're happy to.
Thanks for your call. If you have a question for us out there, give us a call at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. If you're watching us live on the internet on Ustream TV, just click on that little chat box off to the right, and you can type your question into the status line down below, and then that question will be transmitted to us, and we'll be able to answer it. So, or if that's a little too complex, just pick up your phone and dial 503-288-4448. We've had calls from all over the country here, haven't we?
Yes, we have. You know, and she brings up an issue that I'm sure it's going to happen more and more as more states legalize, but there's always that dichotomy. You've got states that are legal, the states that are not legal, and you have a need to go through those states or to those states, or you're moving from one jurisdiction to another, or one state that's legal to another, and you know, the more patients there are across the country, the more that's going to happen.
Sure.
I think some uniformity in the laws will help, and I really
like
the reciprocity.
And so
that
there's reciprocity now in 4 states, Montana being the closest one.
Exactly.
And Montana, like Oregon, allows patients from out of state to get a Montana card. And a big advantage of the Montana card is that it's only $25 for the first year and $10 to renew. So they have the lowest fee by far in the nation. But then Montana, Michigan, Maine, and Rhode Island, the 3 M states, Montana, Michigan, Maine, and then Rhode Island, all have reciprocity. So if you have a card from any one state, other state, you're legal in those 4 states as well.
California will be just because if they legalize.
That'll add new things. So we have another caller. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Howdy.
Hi, my name is Marshall. I just had a couple questions.
Sure.
I was in an automobile accident in 2004. I suffered 4 herniated discs in my lower back.
Oh.
And then also one in my neck. I just recently had a neck surgery, and they fused my C5 and C6 together. And I've had some pretty extensive damage to my right arm. And, they got me on heavy-duty painkillers. At one time, I was all the way up to, like, 450 milligrams of oxycodone a day.
Wow.
And
a lot of pain, man.
I'm pretty tired of the pills.
And all their negative side effects and your lowered quality of life.
Exactly.
And what we see so often are patients in just your situation who've basically been addicted to these high intensity analgesics and narcotics, and they come in, get medical marijuana, and able to gradually wean themselves off of those narcotics entirely or almost entirely, and vastly improve their quality of life. So you definitely qualify for medical marijuana. If you don't have a card already, you should get one and give that a try, I would think.
Yeah, I don't have a card. My second question is, I'm on probation, and I am getting off of probation any time now. Is there any way that you can have a card while you're on probation?
Yes, you definitely can. Being on probation or even parole does not preclude you from getting a medical marijuana card.
So if I go and what type of fees is it for the medical marijuana card?
The fee, you said?
Yeah, the fee.
There's a state fee here in Oregon of $100, but if you are on food stamps, supplemental security income from Social Security, or the Oregon Health Plan, then the fee drops down to $20 annually.
Oh,
what
wow.
you need to do is get an application form and a attending physician form, and get your doctor to fill out that attending physician form, and then you turn in that application, the doctor's attending physician's form, it's called the attending physician statement, along with that fee to the Oregon Health Department, and then they will issue you a permit. As soon as you turn that payment and documentation into the state, in Oregon, you're legal right then.
So what
was that?
What if when my doctor, I was with a neurologist for 2 years that was really into helping his patients at whatever cost. You know, I'm tired of the side effects of the medication. And what if the physician I'm with now, my primary care physician, won't sign the paper to get medical marijuana? Do you guys
We have doctors here in Portland, half dozen of them, and there's here in Oregon over 3,000 of Oregon's 8,000 doctors have recommended medical marijuana to at least one patient, and we have doctors standing by ready to help you. You can call us here. You're here in the Portland area?
Yes, sir, I am.
Yeah, you can just call our local number at 503-235-4606. As I said earlier, you can say that again. We'll put
repeat
that,
the number.
We'll put that up on the screen. It's 503-235-4606. Again, that's 503-235-4606. And you can call right now and leave a message, and somebody will call you back either tomorrow on Saturday, or they'll call you back come Monday. But leave a message and we'll get back to you. Just have to have the doctor will require some medical charts, maybe the written report of some of your x-rays or surgeries, and then we have doctors who will be more than happy to help you.
I've got all that. I've got.
Yep,
You know,
you're way overqualified for the job.
4 years of documentation.
Oh yeah.
So I really appreciate what you guys are doing, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And it's awesome that Oregon is so willing to accept medical marijuana and all its uses. So
we can thank the voters and
That's
the people
it.
and
That's it. It's us,
the activists who've put this up there, and fortunately we're able to use medical marijuana in this state. We're one of the best states for it.
Awesome.
And we've been a model for many of the other states too, because of that.
Keep up the good work, because there's a lot of us out here that are tired of the prescriptions and the pharmacies and the doctors and the blood draws and all the money that goes into it. You know, when
You've been through it.
Have something that's renewable all the time and zero side effects. So
yeah,
I appreciate you guys accepting my phone call, and thank you very, very much.
Hey, we're glad we could help. Thank you.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
luck with your situation. I hope you can get medical marijuana, and that's a big help to you, and you're able to get off all of those debilitating narcotics.
Yeah, because I mean, you become physically dependent upon them. You know.
That's right. The doctors get you addicted to them, and then they label you as a drug seeker. And
exactly, a drug seeker. You know,
Right.
they put you on 400
we see it happen all too often.
And then you go to see a different doctor, and he's like, "Oh, you're a junkie. You're a dope fiend. You're seeking pills." And I'm like, "What do you mean? I've got 3 years worth of documentation to show that I've been on this medication for these reasons." "Oh, well, we just don't feel comfortable, you know." And then it's just a whole roller coaster ride.
You're right.
Yeah.
So,
we got you hooked, and now we're going to morally degrade you and denigrate you for what we've done to you.
Get off of that.
So anyway, we'll help you get off that roller coaster if you like. Just call that number. Thanks for your call.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Glad to do it.
Later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Another poignant one. Wow.
We
a couple
hear it
of them
all
tonight.
the time.
Man, a couple of them tonight are very touching.
We hear that all the time in our clinics where we're helping patients all across
We
the
do.
country.
We
If
do.
you're out there and you have a qualifying condition that either your doctor won't help you with, or that you don't want to have that in your permanent medical record, then we have doctors who will respect your privacy and protect your confidentiality and help you get a medical marijuana recommendation. Here in the Portland area, you can call us at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. You know, we have doctors all across the country, all the way from the Atlantic to out in the middle of the Pacific on all the islands in Hawaii, who are standing by to help you. So if you're outside of the Portland area, you can call us at 1-800-723-0188. That's 1-800-723-0188. And we'll be happy to help. Yeah, it's very sad to hear some of these terrible stories. And like for some patients, like that fellow with MS, marijuana will slow the progression and may even halt the progression of multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, and all those neurodegenerative diseases. It's actually been shown as the only thing that slows and in some cases halts the progression of those. So to deny medical marijuana to these patients like that MS patient who called us, or other patients with neurodegenerative disease, is akin to manslaughter, or a cancer patient. It's just horrible to think that these doctors are so badly educated that they don't follow the science or the studies that come out every day that we read about on this show every day.
Well, we're getting stronger with that, though. More bold about that.
That's true.
It's not going to stop. We're not going to stop.
That's right.
I mean, with people like that thanking us, when I hear that, thank you, it really touches deep.
Oh, I know, and we hear that every day in helping patients. It really is very gratifying, and it's very inspirational, and gives us, you know, a certain
impetus
degree
to
of
keep
passion
going,
to continue and fight on in the face of adversity, because the kind of adversity this fellow's gone through, none of us would want to be there, but if we had to be, we'd want to see other people that would be willing to help us and help us get medical marijuana in that situation. So fortunately, Oregon being one of the compassion states, along with all of the West Coast states and more throughout the rest of the country, we're seeing medical marijuana breaks across all political barriers, and everybody gets sick, everybody has pain, everyone faces disease and death, and so at some point, you know, you're likely to need medical marijuana, and it helps for so many different conditions.
I got a message this week from the head of National Normal, Alan St. Pierre, that indeed National Normal had gotten requests from several gubernatorial and senatorial races on the East Coast for endorsements,
for their endorsement
and
for the
donations.
First time.
You know, it's like now people are seeking out, you know, donations.
There's been a huge sea change, and things are moving in our direction for the first time ever.
That's right.
We have another caller. Welcome to our show, caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Cornelius. I was just calling to say you guys are an awesome show, and I love watching you guys every week.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
That's a
Thanks
nice thing
for watching.
to say.
Of course. And I'm probably going to be giving you guys a call here soon, more about my shoulder issue that I have.
Okay.
Well, there you go. You know where to call now.
Yeah, we'll be happy to help you. Thanks for watching.
All right, of course. You guys have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, you too. We are ticking down with just about 4 minutes left to go for the end of the show. So I'm not sure whether we can get another phone call or not. We'll see. But,
whether they call or not, we can always have a lively conversation. I know that for a fact.
That's true. That's true. And you'll be bopping over to play us some music here any moment now.
Where are you going next week? You got travel
I'm staying
plans?
in Portland. I got a lot of stuff to do here this week, but the following week I got to bop off to Montana.
Yeah.
And
well, I know I carved some pumpkins last weekend, and I got a couple more benefits to do for some pumpkin carving stuff. So it's always fun. It's right in the middle of October. Yeah.
Pumpkin carver.
Yeah. Hey, I have fun with it.
You're an artist of many stripes there. Pumpkin, glass, music.
I'm an artist.
Yep.
It just ekes out every pore.
I guess so.
I guess so.
Well, you know, we're down to just a few minutes left. I want to remind you, as we've said to our last couple callers, that if you or a loved one has one of the qualifying conditions for medical marijuana, whether it be a neurodegenerative disease like multiple sclerosis, or a gastrointestinal ailment like IBS or Crohn's disease, or cancer, or a chronic pain condition from ruptured and rebuilt discs in your spine, AIDS, spastic condition that causes muscle spasms, including asthma and Tourette's, or a seizure disorder like epilepsy. We have doctors who can help you get a medical marijuana permit all over the country. Throughout the country, you can call us at our toll-free number at 1-800-723-0188. That's 1-800-723-0188. There it is. And if you're here in the Portland area, you can call us at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. I want to thank you for watching another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells you the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition. Tune in next week. Get out there, work, vote. If you're in Oregon, vote for ballot measure 74. In California, vote for Proposition 19. If you're in Arizona or South Dakota, just vote for medical marijuana and help us restore hemp. Good night.
See you next week, folks.
Almost 20 years ago in my hemp paper company, and he's a very accomplished pianist.